Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I am very excited to have someone who I have followed a very long time on Instagram. It is Ciara, who is my fussy eater. Not only is she an awesome mummy, she has a little boy with autism, and she has a great cookbook with lots of great recipes for really fussy eaters. So welcome.
Thank you, so glad to be here. We've conversed for quite a while on Instagram, so it's really nice to actually do something together.
We're going to be talking about autism and food because it's a massive issue for a lot of us mummies with children on the spectrum. And we're going to try and make Ciara's chicken dippers with honey mustard mayo. We're making the honey mustard mayo bit?
If this is a new food you're trying to introduce to your child, especially an autistic child, maybe don't go full on with the mayo to begin with. Let's do baby steps. Let's do baby steps. But yeah, definitely a great one to try. If you know your kid likes chicken nuggets, with a little bit of love, a little bit of care in it, is always going to be better than something that's factory made. You know, we all rely on the factory stuff, the freezer food. Yeah. I always have fish fingers in my freezer for emergencies. But I just think on, you know, other days when you've got a little bit more time to put into cooking, then why not try to kind of healthify something.
So we need 400 grams of chicken mini fillets. I got those and I got these. These are good?
These are, yeah, because they're already cut up, so I'm a bit lazy. I like things pre-prepared.
Make it easy as possible. 2 eggs.
Ground almonds.
Oh yeah.
So if you don't have eggs or you have egg allergies, you can just use some milk. So it's literally just to help the almonds bind. Cumin.
Oregano.
A little bit of salt and pepper if you have it.
Yeah, here's my little bit of pepper.
It's like an Italian restaurant. So the eggs first.
Oh yeah.
Just crack them into a bowl.
Yeah.
Traditional chicken nuggets are made with breadcrumbs, but I use ground almonds for 2 reasons. First of all, they're a bit more nutritious. Bread is just bread. And also I find they're really, really fine. So sometimes when you make chicken nuggets at home, if you're using fresh breadcrumbs, they end up really quite big and they can go quite soggy and stuff. So I just find the almonds gives a really nice coating and it's probably more similar to what you would find in the shops. Yeah. Cool. So whack a bit in.
How much whack a bit?
Eyeball this.
She's eyeballing. I'm just winging it.
Yeah, that's fine. Just a bit of cumin just to add some flavour. Put some salt and pepper in.
Just my small pepper.
You can leave this out if you don't obviously want to add the seasoning. Try a bit more. Or if you want to keep it like low salt, if you're also feeding it to like babies, toddlers. And that's it, that's the prep done. So you just literally dip it in and then coat it in the almonds. You can batch make these as well, so you could make a whole bunch one day and then flash freeze them, make loads, put them into the freezer like this, on a tray or a plate, separate it out so they don't stick together. Yeah. And then once they're frozen, you can add them into like a freezer bag or a container or something to keep them. And then I would just bake them straight from frozen. Okay.
Should I get the oil started over here? What Rian talks about in my book is that she spoke to a nutritionist, a dietitian, and at a conference, and they were saying that your child only needs to eat a fistful, their fist, not yours, their own size fistful of food to be able to get the nutrients that they need in. And I think a lot of parents think they need a massive big plate full of everything. Even a little bit here, a little bit there is what is getting what they need.
That we always have this focus on breakfast, lunch, dinner, and there's 3 big meals and they need to eat loads for that. If you kind of remove the focus off that, maybe if your child is best in the morning when they first wake up, make breakfast the big meal of the day, where they eat probably the most, or they eat that at the table, and then throughout the day as they're getting more tired, you know, they're having more stimulus, you know, the day is getting more difficult for them, then just cut down that pressure and instead of big meals, give them like a tiny quarter portion. And then maybe give them another portion an hour later.
Also, Dylan still doesn't sit at our table. We're trying at the moment, even if he sits down with us for 5 minutes to eat pudding, and then we're trying to add up.
I wrote an article about it a couple of months ago, actually, and again, it was in relation to just all children. This idea of the big family dinner in the evening, and that it was all
1950s.
Yeah, and that we had to maybe do away with this old-fashioned traditional advice that we've constantly been told. And that's pretty much why I started my site, because I found a lot of the advice on fussy eating online was very archaic and traditional. It didn't suit kind of the way I was parenting and like kind of modern families. And have a Sunday lunch or Sunday dinner, great, but the rest of the week you really need to set up meal times for the kids, not for you. Yeah, I think they're done.
Okay, amazing.
I would serve these with like maybe some potato wedges. If you get baby potatoes, small ones, and then chop them in half or into quarters, leave the skins on, just roast them, a little bit of oil.
Actually, that's really good.
It just tastes like a chicken nugget.
It actually does. I think Dylan might actually eat these. When you're trying a new food, don't give it to them when they are hungry. Try and give them the new foods at like 10 o'clock in the morning, so like an hour or two after breakfast, or 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
So they're not starving.
Yeah, no, because then they're going to be hangry.
Exactly. But they still might be a little bit peckish enough to kind of try it, but not. There's no focus, like if you don't eat this, there's nothing else. Like this is your meal. A child food expert a couple of years ago was giving some great advice at something I was at about giving children food in a bath to play with.
Oh,
so when
that's
they're
a good
in the
idea.
bath. And again, this was just in relation to like neurotypical fussy eaters, but I think it would be great for autistic children as well.
True.
It's taking the pressure out of the situation, so it's getting them out of the kitchen or away from the kitchen table, because they might associate that part of the house with being high pressure. This is where I'm forced to eat, and letting them things like berries, letting them squish them and feel them, and they might smell them, even a little bit of taste. And then obviously the water is there, so they can immediately dip their hands in, wash their hands.
I don't know what, but Dylan would eat mud. He would lick the window. He would eat everything non-edible. And give him a sweet corn or peas, and he's like, "Oh, what are you giving me?"
One of the things that a lot of parents of autistic kids, when they speak to me about food issues, is one, it's texture. You know, they don't like little bits. So
Dylan
things
does not like little bits.
sauces can be an issue. Meat can be an issue as well, getting like good sources of protein into them, because obviously most meat has quite a bit of texture in it.
Yeah, it does actually.
Or even things like beans and pulses, they're still quite textury.
And they're usually quite colourful as well.
Yeah, and they're the kind of thing they'll see in a sauce and pick out.
And we're also going to make
A lentil pasta sauce. The idea is to kind of create a really plain red pasta sauce that your child might be familiar with. So they might be used to having like the jars of dalmia or something, just very plain, but having it packed with plant-based protein from the red lentils, and it all gets blitzed up so they can't see it, they can't pick it out, there's no texture, it's completely smooth.
Dylan does not like sauces. So he is still very bland, and everything has to be separated.
Yeah.
So I think what I'm going to try with Dylan tonight is to separate the foods out.
So in the case of pasta sauce, putting it on the side, and then your child has control, so they can choose if they want to eat, if they want to try it, if they want to dip. That it's not as scary or as overwhelming. Do you have a weighing scale? No?
No. I have a jug. I have a... What do I got? Okay, I have this liter.
I'll eyeball it, let's not worry.
I'm like the worst apprentice in the world.
Did you never weigh anything?
No. The only thing I weigh in this house is myself. If I have to weigh something, I say how much is it in teaspoons or tablespoons?
Oh yeah, 25.
Yeah, that's what I do. Pecs in the kitchen is a really good way of getting your child to communicate with you. If you put labels on, you can also put pictures on, like a picture of the pasta. If you leave everything at their level, so, you know, I've got like the OT bars, I've got all the kids stuff on this level so they can reach it themselves. But if they want something, so when Dylan couldn't talk to me, he would, I had Velcro, and I used to just stick them on. You can get them on Amazon or eBay, really cheap, the double-sided Velcro, and he would take off the picture and hand it to me, and it looks really cute. Look, labels on everything.
Basically, the base of the sauce is going to be passata, so that's like sieved tomatoes. You could use some tin chopped tomatoes as well. And then our red lentils. We are eyeballing because you don't have a measuring tool. I know what I'm going to send you now. When's your birthday? Stock cube. Or you could make it together, the stock in a jug, and then pour it in. And a little bit of oregano, or like mixed herbs, or again, you can get creative. You could put a bit of paprika in it. You could make a chili.
Leaves in there though.
No, because it's going to get blitzed up. So I'm only going to put a little bit in. Salt and pepper, you can put in. I'm not going to put this in, and I don't put it in to my kids. Sometimes I do is I keep this in the freezer, or I keep it in the fridge for a few days, and then I use it to maybe add to meatballs. And if the meatballs are already seasoned, then I don't. So that basically goes on the hob. Give it a little stir, bring it to the boil, and then simmer for about 15 minutes. If it seems... I just don't know what I'm going to find in this kitchen. It's brilliant. If it seems too thick, you can add some more stock, or like just throw in a bit of water. It really is easy. Like, it doesn't have to be completely exact, so don't worry about that. Lentils will absorb all of that liquid, become really like plump.
Okay.
And then we're going to blitz them up.
Okay. So you either have children on the spectrum who won't eat anything and they're really underweight, but you also have the other end of the spectrum where they're overweight. And you know, I have to really watch what Dylan eats, because he will sit there, and because he loves crunch, he loves things like crisps or crackers, or and he'll literally just keep eating because he needs that something in his mouth
like
all the time.
Stimulation. Yeah. I think it's about then in those cases finding like those kind of healthier snacks that they can have. So like all kids, just getting as much kind of nutrition and goodness in meal times, but then if they feel the need to kind of snack and have that throughout the day, that, you know, if they like crunchy things like carrots, I always have in my house carrots, cucumber, peppers, and snap plates are great, kind of divided up plates, because you could put maybe...
We love the divided up plates.
One little like treat, like the crisps or the chocolate, whatever, and then fill the rest with more healthier stuff, but that's still giving them that sensory stimulation of the crunch. There's so many of those like kid-safe knives you can buy now, and getting them to help chop or to peel anything like that, because it just gets them interested. And this is all kids, not just autistic kids. If they're involved in the process, then they're going to be more interested in what appears on the table.
Dylan wouldn't ever use cutlery. He doesn't really know how to hold a knife and fork, or doesn't know that cutting motion. So weighted cutlery is very good because it's kind of bigger.
There's a great company I actually met with the founders a few weeks ago called Nana's Manners. They've made cutlery. It's for children, kind of, I think from about the age of 3. It's a stainless steel knife and fork, but it has like a plastic kind of cover coating, and it shows them exactly how to use it. But they've had great success with autistic kids.
I've never ever bought red lentils before.
I use them a lot. I try to get them into different recipes. They're just so nutritious. So obviously you've got like protein, you've got plant-based protein, you've got so much fibre. A lot of autistic children can be really constipated. If they don't like, if they're not eating a lot of vegetables, they're not getting a lot of fibre. On my app, I've got a recipe for red lentil and carrot bites. So they're almost like little kind of fritter pancakey things.
Oh yes, I think I've seen that one.
Yeah, they're really good.
Let's try those as well.
Okay, so you drain that, I will blitz. So yeah, literally just blitz this until smooth. So you can use a hand blender or a stand blender. Okay, that's done.
That actually is amazing. You can't actually see the lentils in there.
So that's literally just like pasta sauce. Remember you were worried about the oregano, so you can't see any of it?
That's amazing.
You could put fresh herbs as well. You could put like basil.
And it just blitzes up and you can't see it?
Yep. Just pasta sauce.
That's incredible.
Cheese on top.
Brilliant.
Yeah, a few veggies on the side.
That's cool. Amazing. Yay! Thank you so much for watching us today. I hope you learnt a little bit about autism and food, and thank you, Ciara, so much for coming down. It's honestly amazing to finally meet you in person as well. So thank you guys so much. We will see you next Sunday.
feel I'm ready to eat it.
Okay, go for it.
Good?
I ate it already, like.
You like it?
Oh, please, can you give me some?
You want more, please? That's great.
Mm.